Hi everybody, welcome. It is 8 o'clock and we're going to get started on our DIY Women's Night. I have my empty glass of wine because I'm dealing with a compound miter saw tonight, so you probably don't want me drinking ahead of time, but trust me, I will fill this later. So this is what we're making tonight. It is a caddy tray. I'm going to move my wine glass out of the way. Well, you know what? I'll show it to you like this. This is exactly what we're making. So what do I have here? I have what's called 1 by 12. I had a very generous, awesome former shop teacher. He's now retired here in my local neighborhood who gave us all kinds of wood. So this was a piece. Also just 1 by 4. Well, actually this is like 1 by 3-ish. So just scrap wood laying around that I will tell you how to either cut with. We've gone through this in past projects with our basic just hand saw. It's going to take you some time, but that is a potential option and definitely a lesser financial option. But then also compound miter saw or alternative. And again, we are in a either shelter-in-place situation depending on your state or limited activities. So I would say go get it cut at Lowe's, our partner. You can always get it pre-cut at a lumber company, but at the same time right now we're being pretty careful about where we go outside. So if you have one in your garage, again, you could go from simple to complex to getting it cut at your local store, and Lowe's would be happy to help you. So public service announcements, couple announcements for us. I am wearing Generation T. April was going to be a trades month for Generation T with a lot of events, so now that's probably going virtual, but this is IamGenerationT.com. You can actually go and take a pledge. We were going to have all of our builder girls, our middle school girls, go take the pledge from the Builder Girls Club because it's tracks to the trades for teenagers to go into the trades. So I think we can all agree after the end of all of this coronavirus piece, and hopefully as we emerge from the ashes of what's here today, the trades are more needed now than ever. So we really are huge advocates of Generation T. So, and plus I love a good hoodie. So my Builder Girls Club that we would normally be in person with should be proud of me or possibly mortified because I am a 43-year-old woman wearing a hoodie. Also, I wanted to just give 2 quick announcements that we have our 3D printer in our house, which is our makeshift workshop, lab, and village workshop. Along with this right now, since we can't be in a location or in the schools, working on face shields with the 3D printer. So if you know our message, if you're new to us, the future of trades is tech. So what's really important to us is that we give foundational elements and foundational hammer and drill skills, we call them, to 3 different age groups: 9 to 12-year-old girls, which we call Explorer Girls; 12 to 14-year-old girls, which is our Builder Girls Club. That's our middle schoolers that take on bigger projects, hoping that they can go into careers in technical education in their high school education. And then we also work with women and getting them in women at work trade circles and trade expos to get connected to jobs in the industry. So right now, tech is taking the forefront based on so many limited access to face shields, face masks, etc. And so the 3D printers are going to shine right now. We all have them in the industry and are trying to figure out where that's going to make themselves useful coming up here. And right now they're useful in hopefully bringing some masks to our very much needed front lines in the medical community. So we really hope to have something for you in the next couple of days of opportunity to. Filament is the biggest cost in any kind of 3D printing, so if people are interested in donating filament, we would love to have that so that we can print them out. It looks like it's going to be about 1 every 2 hours for us if we can really get this programmed and the kinks worked out. The other project that we are working on is what's called Builder Kid Kits. So really quickly, it's just Craftsman Dura tubs. These are 20-gallon tubs that we are filling with 7 different projects since we can't get to kids with our programming right now and we can't facilitate. So because we're all practicing social distancing, we're sheltering in place, there are still kids who need us. Our nonprofit friends in different nonprofits are all many are looking for and have already placed orders for these kits that are filled with 7 different projects for 4 kids per box. And that is something that a community facilitator or a caregiver can give pretty easily because they're all really easy, like DIY wooden robots, DIY rope shelves. Some of the projects we've done together in the last week, we have made into a kit system so that we can easily put those also to the front lines of neighborhoods at risk as well as families who need us. So look for an update on that tomorrow as to how you can order one for your family. If you are in the Charlotte area, we will deliver. Or if you'd like to sponsor a box to go to a nonprofit, we have 3 going out the door tomorrow. So more orders in this week. We have 4 more to deliver on Friday. And we hope that's more because we want to be able to service our friends in the nonprofit community. So down to business. Let's make a shelf. All right, so what I have here, since I have my miter saw, I am going to not use my hand saw, and I'm going to actually use my miter saw. I have my gloves. Again, female founded and run company. This is See Her Work, seeherwork.com, or she is newly in the Lowe's family, and you can find her products at Lowe's. These are awesome because they are fitted to women. I love her gloves. They're phenomenal. This is founder Jane, so big shout out to Jane right now. They're nicely fitted, they're leather, they're like smooth as butter. So I'm going to wear that and my protective equipment. I'm going to take you through a couple of the stages. All in all, I talk a lot, so let's just face it. This can take you as short as probably 20 minutes. So what we are going to do is also always, even though mine are nicely well used here in terms of my safety eyewear, I've already marked this, so you know, if I really wanted to be crazy, this is 1x12. Again, you can find this at any lumberyard, or if you have any scraps, or maybe you have neighbors, you can put out on Facebook to say, hey, do you have any kind of extra wood out there that you could drop off at my mailbox or my front door, or you could go pick up maybe. I have it measured down to 2.5 feet. This is a caddy tray. Oh, by the way, I feel like you should just read my mind. These are good for bathtubs. Like this would fit my bathtub. I'm not a bath taker personally, but I have caddies all over my house. This could be on a coffee table. You could use this as a charcuterie board. You could use it for any variety of things. So I'm acting like it is a tray that is going in over a bathtub, and you can just have your wine night with Calgon Take Me Away, moms. Right? So I have, that's usually about 2.5 feet. If you want it for that, you're gonna have to measure your bathtub and take it from there. But I just went with 2.5 feet for mine. But y'all don't live in my house, so that might be problematic, right? So I've already marked it with my pencil. I'm gonna bring this down and just see if I'm right on my line. I am. I'm a huge fan of sawing. It's very cathartic, especially right now. Unfortunately, I was up early doing some pre-cuts that you'll see, and I apologize if my neighbors are watching me. I'm really sorry. That was kind of early. It's like people cutting their grass, right? You don't really want to do that. All right. There we go. I have some scrap wood left over. Super simple stuff. Huge advocate. I'm telling you, put it on your Christmas list. Hopefully we will all be out shopping, and I know everybody's putting up Christmas decorations right now. I'm really not super sure. Actually, I'm gonna keep these on because next step of this, so I've already pre-cut what you would want to do if you've got your scrap wood. I won't cut anymore just because that's fun to watch, but it takes a little bit more of our time. So I already pre-cut 2 sections. What I want to say is, you know, again, find some scrap wood, or you could even get scrap wood at your lumberyard. Sometimes they'll give it to you if they've just got extra pre-cuts. Sorry, glass makes me nervous. Not usually in a workshop. What you want to stay away from is pieces like this. Something that has, you know, something that was already part of the wood that's an imperfection. You want something nice and square and level as well. So I'm working with a little bit of bowed wood. I don't know where this piece was sitting, probably outside, but I want to stay away from pieces like this. Seems like common sense, but you never know when you're working with stuff like this. And also you're gonna have nice frayed cuts, frayed edges that I'm keeping my gloves on because you want to use your sandpaper. So I've got a couple different types of sandpaper today. This one is medium for me. I'm a big fan of the 3M sandpaper, or if you're a huge block fan, you can also use a block. I tend to go towards, it depends on the project, but I tend to go for just the paper because it's a nice bend around something like this. So again, I'll do this one piece just so you get the idea. I think this measured out, so you'll take that, measure out your width, you make your cut. This is an easy one on the saw when you're dealing with any kind of 1x. this would take you a little bit longer. Again, you could do it. This is a $12 to $14 investment and super simple. As long as you clamp it down on a table that's nice and level, this is my just quick work table, you can make it happen. And we use this with girls in Builder Girls Club when we are introducing just hammer, drill, nail skills to them. So we don't get them on compound miter saw until later. So again, just gonna do this really quickly so you see it. And it depends on how you want to paint this. I don't have one that's stained that I can show you today. I won't be staining, but love this wood. I love the grain on it, so I could easily stain. This ended up making a super long piece of wood. I don't really know what they were making, but I could make stain. I'll show you a couple of the other ones that I did just as samples. And if you do want to stain wood, you just want to make sure you're taking it to take out all of those little wonky cuts and imperfections depending on what kind of wood you're using. You're going to take this all the way down, especially if you're staining. Again, you want that to soak in pretty nicely. You do want to do it regardless, just kind of quickly and easily. Like this one, I'm just going to do quickly because if you know me, you know I love myself a good can of spray paint. I have never met a can of spray paint that I don't like, so I love to go crazy with spray paint. As do most teenage girls. So the girls that we work with in Builder Girls Club and our Explorer Girls camps love themselves some spray paint. All right, so you get the picture, sanded it all down, it's ready to go. I would take it over to my next station. Same thing with this. I would take my sandpaper. I'm probably gonna go through an entire sheet of this one, especially if I wanna stain it. Now, if you are staining, remember, don't go side to side, because you're gonna pick up that grain and you're gonna see that once you stain. So you wanna stick with your grain, whatever wood grain you have, if you're doing that. So again, this one, if I was to take this, I'd probably take a block or even a professional sander, which is $30 at Lowe's. I don't have it to show you tonight, but you know, a bigger piece of wood, it's gonna go faster. You can do it budget, economical, and get some sweat equity out of it. So that's that. I'm gonna take you over to paint. Take off my nice, awesome wood gloves. Technical difficulties. We're in the dark, by the way, so have some new lights. By the way, these are belts. So I haven't worn a nice belt in a while, so I just went and raided my own belt drawer. And then I'm gonna show you some others that we found. I'm a huge fan. One of our partners is the Goodwill Construction Skills Training Center, a premier facility that is here in Charlotte that is training adults and teenagers, but really adults in their adults program that we partner with, how to get into the construction trades and construction basics with math, OSHA 10, getting into 3D printing even in their CAD lab, and then actually building a tiny home in the middle of their facility. So we work with them and love to go to Goodwill into their stores and find a lot of the products that we use to go on here. So some of these belts are actually from Goodwill, so we like to support our partners there. But again, I'll show you how this is really simple finish nails that we're gonna add into that. Bring this over, because next up for me is going to be, so I'm showing you a couple of stations going on, and this is just for Facebook Live TV. Clearly you're not gonna have this going on in your garage of like all this staged fun stuff, but I wanted to make it easy and go a little faster. So I've got belts. We also have ties. You could do this with ties if you wanted to have fun with it. I didn't have time to do that today, but I would love to try that. Use anything, I don't know, rope. You could easily use rope. We've used that for a lot of projects. Get creative with these. Again, I'm a huge fan of adaptive reuse versus buying things, or I love to go to Goodwill and reuse something that someone else has gently used themselves and given up to not be in a landfill, right? So anyway, we've got one that's already clamped down. We've got one that is going to get wood glue right now. We have Gorilla Glue that we're gonna use. And then I also pre-prepped one that I wanna paint. So this one, if you're a child of the 80s like me, like I don't know why, but I thought this looked like Van Halen. So I'm gonna spray paint it red. So who knows where that's gonna end up. Maybe we'll give that to our friends at Girls Rock Charlotte. So I'm gonna move all this out of the way and do that too, so that I can show you exactly how easy this is. Once everything's been cut, you're just gonna take this and literally use your glue. So I've just got your basic There's a million brands of wood glue out here. I'm not trying to make an advertisement, but I'm a big fan of the Gorilla Glue because it dries pretty fast. It's about an hour. It depends on how thick your wood is and how much you're using. And I do want to talk this out too. I went ahead and measured. So for this, if you're doing like a shower caddy, a bathtub caddy tray, and remember you've got belts that are going over this or some kind of, you don't want to put that in the middle of your tray and then it's a little weird because you don't really have much space there. So the farther out the better. I wouldn't put it exactly on the edge because you want some kind of overhang. For me, let's see, on this one, I'm just gonna go, there you go. Takes all of, and so again, I'm working with some bowed wood. This is not exactly level, so I try to match that up the best I can. I'm going to use that side of the wood up against the grain. I'm just going to zigzag it. That was easy. Love us some glue. I don't recommend using a glue gun here. I've never met a glue gun that I didn't like, if you know me well. But that's not really the application that this is good for, because if you go trying to nail into that later, which I'll show you what you're going to do at the end of this, it's not going to be successful. The glue is going to get away from you and separate from the primary piece. So stick with wood glue, let it commit, give it time to dry, and that's where your clamps are going to come in. So took a little bit of the paint off there. I had a feeling I might. This is one that I had a lot of fun with earlier today. If you've been with us on our former projects this week, we had a blast. Actually, the girls that were over here and pre-painting our DIY rope shelves, which you can find if you weren't with us. You can find that tutorial on Facebook. Sorry, I have a little mosquito friend. It's definitely, he likes the light. It's definitely springtime in the Carolinas. We are located in Charlotte, if you didn't already know. So this one took a little bit of the paint off, but we did this ombre. We totally just came up on this by accident, and it was super fun. So if you ever want to try this, I'm obsessed with it. I'm doing it on pretty much everything this week. We used one color as the base and then went over it. Metallic seemed to work really well, so gold goes just over it in an overspray. I did it underneath. If I had really planned this out well, I would have thought the fact that doing an overspray to the side might not be as cool as if I had done it to the front, but hey, what are you gonna do? So this is 2 hours or so of drying time, and there you go, there you've got your base. So we would clamp this guy down. Again, I'm moving it around. You see just how much I'm true in saying that these do move when you first originally glue. So you could leave it without a clamp. I like to clamp, especially when I have bowed surfaces, just because it's going to give you a good contact. And who knows, if you've got kids, dogs, whatever, roaming around in your garage, or you could be doing this part of the project. Making sure I'm lined up there. You could be doing this part of the project in your kitchen, in your whatever, bonus room. Who knows who's coming through the room. Stuff gets moved. Let's face it, it's life. So I'm just gonna clamp this one down so I can work on that later. And there you have it. Super simple, walk away from it. If you've got, I'm a massive fan of either paper towels or right now, since paper towels are in short supply, shop rags or old t-shirts. Again, adaptive reuse, you do not have to be spending money on this stuff. I'm a huge fan of ripping up old t-shirts that you can use in a shop. So this one we're gonna finish off with our nails, but I wanna do that spray paint first, just because I feel like spray painting something. So again, I didn't do one that was stained. Maybe I'll stain that and I'll post it to Instagram later so you can check out staining. But super simple stuff. I mean, take your stain, take your paintbrush. I would do 2 or 3 coats and probably a coat of varnish just to make it nice and snazzy. So I'm gonna take this back over. We'll move our super finished product. And then I'm going to spray paint really quickly. So I've got a couple different things going on here. I'm not going to be wearing my gloves just because for, again, Facebook Live. I highly recommend, these are just super cheap, like dollar gloves that are good for painting, especially if you wear your rings like I do. Huge fan. Again, this is my last N95 mask. All the others have been donated, so I want that to be super disclosed. And then also, if you don't have masks, you can use buffs. I should have used, I do a lot of mountain climbing, etc., and buffs are great if you're a runner, or you can make one with a t-shirt. So I'm just going to put this on because that's what we would do when we spray paint. Oops, sorry. And I'm only going to do, the real basics here, just because I've got a lot going on elsewhere. But you see what I'm doing. Again, when we're spray painting, oh, I just had a mosquito friend that wasn't a fan of that. Maybe I'll start spray painting mosquitoes in my spare time. I'm just going to spray paint this because I want to show it to you before I leave, and we leave each other tonight. So in terms of spray painting, you see what I'm doing there. You never want to just spray paint and stay there. You always want to be moving, and I like short bursts. So somebody can fight with me on right spray painting technique. Again, right now, I'm not looking to create a super masterpiece here. I just want something that's got a cool overspray to it, because what I'm going to do is come back later. Again, I'm going for that Van Halen look, right? I'm going to come over that with a paintbrush and do some fun stuff over top of it. So again, if I was looking for something really awesome and perfect, I would be really paying attention to what I'm doing. So not as worried. I want this to be a little more abstract anyway. So again, I would let that dry. I'm just going to do it just to see if it'll dry in the time that we still have together. See where that takes us, and then I'll show you if it dries. It's probably going to take a little more time than that. Let's see, what belt am I going to use? All right, so again, I've got a couple of cut belts. So I was really thinking this gold one at first. This was one of my daughter's belts from like Old Navy, all $3 that she never wears. So she donated that one. I've already pre-cut a couple others that were just out of Goodwill. I'm a huge fan of the leopard. That's kind of jumped the shark now, so maybe we could do leopard, or we just stick with that here. I'll show you the cutting. Two ways to cut these. You can cut either with actually a knife or just your regular scissors. As long as they're nice and sharp, you should be good here. I'm going to come back over here. Make this final caddy. So when you're cutting these, this belt, I would tend to get a longer belt just so you can play with it. Our sample one I didn't show you, had a couple of our holes. My belts are a little smaller, so I like men's belts because again, you can kind of just go ahead and cut off anything that has the holes for actually making your belt an actual belt. So I'm not sure if I have enough really to make a caddy with our leather based on how wide this is. We'll go with it. Why not? And who knows, I save everything for projects. Like, you wouldn't believe how creative 12-year-old girls can be. I have no idea what I'll use that for, but we save those for a rainy day. Again, I'm just doing it. You could sit here and measure it out. Let's see what kind of clearance I've got here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to use it with the holes, but go with it. We're not selling it at Pottery Barn. This is for fun. And it's for me. So again, if I was going to do one that was a gift for a friend, or someplace that's like super prominent in my house that I just want to say, look, I did that, I would probably get a longer belt that you don't see exposed holes, or put it towards a side that you're not seeing. So finish nails for me, I'm going to use smaller nails if I can find them. Which, by the way, since the last time we saw you, if you were on with us, our workshop, you can see, has come a long, long way. Looks like I'm going to have to use some longer nails today. So I'm going to use longer than I want to finish nails, but we'll work with it. So these are not the length that I would typically use, but this is not going anywhere. It is not going to move. And then actually, just because I don't want everything under the sun bouncing off the table, I'm going to move this stuff out of the way. So, we have a nice workspace here. So, for me, again, if you've been with us before, this is a 20-ounce hammer for me. This is a little heavier than what you need, but anything that you're doing, longer nails, 16-ounce will do the trick, especially for kids. This is easily a kid's project as well. You can see I'm just going, backwards. I'm just going halfway through. You could get crazy and measure this. You're going to base it off of what kind of clearance you want here, so how much I want. I'm good with that. And I go right in the center. So all I am doing is taking my finish nails and hammering them in. So I'm on this kind of wonky table here. Probably should be doing it down there. I'll hold it down as well, just because I'm not level. And if you've been with us before, basic hammering skills, you're not going to hammer like this. That is like a fulcrum. You are not catapulting something across the room, and you lose your power the farther down you go. Especially if you're doing little finish work like this. Higher up on the hammer. Shorter bursts are good. I'm using long nails, by the way. So again, I would not typically be using long nails. I'm super unprepared, so this is not going anywhere. I'm just gonna do this one side, just so you know. So I'm doing 2 nails. This is a pretty thin belt. But depending on the width of your pelt, I would always do 2. I wouldn't just stick 1 in here because you really can use this as a caddy at the end of this. But you can scale this up in size. You can scale it down in size. You can make a little teeny one. Knowing my daughters or the girls in Builder Girls Club, they would make a whole family of shelves that are all different sizes. And there we go. So you can see, super easy, minus the fact that I'm using like 8-inch long nails. Just kidding. But longer than what you need. Like I said, you can use baby finish nails for something like this. And if you're using 2, you're gonna have more than enough that's gonna hold some weight. Especially if it's just a wine glass that's maybe kind of full, depending on your pour. Sticking with 1 for now, but you can see, this is what I'm talking about. I didn't let this dry long enough, so I did this about an hour ago, and our wood glue is not dry yet. So I'll go back and re-wood glue that when we're done here. But so all I would be doing is adding this second piece on to this side when we're done. And then I have a pretty crazy rock star. I think this one is probably going to get inherited by my 15-year-old daughter, soon to be 16, because she's the one that did the ombre on this. I'm going to take you back to this one and show you, it's not really dry, but we'll give you the show. Just because it's fun. Ooh, look at that. I like it. And if we were together with the girls, with Builder Girls Club especially, we try to keep it super creative. So if you're with your kids, this is the most fun part. And just let them do crazy stuff. There's nothing perfect. I love to see what kids can do in terms of creativity and challenging themselves. In terms of a cool pattern, use tape, use hands, get them dirty. We're all washing our hands a lot right now, so you don't really have to worry about them washing their hands. Yeah, this is really looking cool. I'll work with the black paint when we're done, and then I'll show you how it all went down. But I'm going to show you how this came out. I mean, there's so many things you could do with these shelves. And like I said, so many sizes. I made 2 sizes. One was 2 feet. Yeah, it's still drying. One was 2 feet, one was 2.5 feet. Like I said, you could build a mini version, you know, a 1-foot shelf, caddy tray. I'm just gonna take this piece off really quickly so I can show you our like 30-second pattern from this afternoon. So again, that was all of, I don't know, what, 30 seconds of coming up with kind of a cool pattern and then also doing a design. So I'll go back over that and do something fun with the black paint and post it to show you. So not perfect. I don't want it perfect. If I wanted it perfect, I probably would have spent more time on it, right? But I wanted to give you some ideas to get started. And again, be creative. This is all super easy DIY stuff. Make sure, public service announcement, like we said earlier, that your wood is dry. So make sure that you have nice dry wood. I would give it a couple hours. Based on the one that was our finished project, that dried with the wood glue. We left that in the morning, or I left it in the morning, so probably about 4 hours. So especially if you're using longer finish nails. So whatever, you work with it, right? So anyway, there's that one. And there's our finished one that I'll show you again. See what I mean on there's still the holes in our belt. So I'll switch that around for you to make that perfect again. And there's your caddy tray. So you can be the popular one in all of your friends. Again, you could use this for a million different things. That will be filled with wine just after this, but then also, again, charcuterie board. You can do this with different materials as well. So have fun, be creative. We'll show you what we do with the rest of these. These are always going to be at some point for sale for fundraisers. So one of these days we'll get an Etsy page up and start selling based on the girls that we normally have doing these projects. But be fearless and kind. Take care of yourself. Wash your hands right now. Go be creative. Sign the pledge at Generation T. And we'll see you next time. We've got a lot going on this week. So see you on Facebook.